Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back once again for another Walking Dead video. Today's video, I wanted to break down the recently released The Ones Who Live trailer. After much waiting, we finally got that trailer today. It was kind of a surprise. They didn't really give us much of a notice. You'd think they'd say, oh, you're going to get this in 24 hours, but it just kind of dropped out of nowhere. And I had done a video earlier in the week about when we could expect it, and it seems like my predictions were kind of right there in the middle, because everyone was predicting that we were going to get this video this week, and I kind of assumed that we were going to get it between Tuesday and Thursday. I didn't think it was going to drop on the weekend, and it looks like we got it today, so that's kind of cool. I was kind of right about that, but I wanted to dive into it and do a little breakdown about some images that I captured from the trailer, kind of give my thoughts about it, and just kind of see what we're going to be working with for this series. But this first image I wanted to break down is of Michonne at the beginning of the trailer. We see her kind of on the prowl, maybe looking probably at one of many locations she's been to try to find Rick, try to find clues of his location, his whereabouts, and she's kind of walking in there cautiously with her hand on the hilt of her sword, ready to go. This next one, we have another shot of Michonne. In the background, we have a character known as Nat. We don't have a whole lot of information on him yet, other than he looks like he's a traveling companion of Michonne, someone that she probably met along the way. And then we have what looks like a walker pulling their cart of supplies. This is not something new for Michonne especially. She is known to have walkers kind of be the carriers of any supplies that she has, because when we first met her, she had, I believe it was her boyfriend or her boyfriend's friend or something to that nature, with their arms removed, their lower jaws removed, so they couldn't pose a threat to her, but they were just the carriers of her luggage. And it seems like she's really stuck to her roots in that manner, using these walkers to her advantage. Other than packing their stuff, it's going to kind of make her blend into any situation that she runs into with more walkers than she can really handle on her own. And then this next shot, we saw this in one of the teasers that we got. It looks like some sort of cruise ship maybe, or just some large freighter ship. It looks like it's got a helipad on there with various satellites and different things. And it says Safe Haven, I believe is what it said. I don't know, Safe Harbor. And it's since run aground and it's very dilapidated. So it looks like it's been there for quite a while. So not sure where she comes across this, because in the trailer she says that she's heading north, but then there's another voiceover that says you don't want to go north right now. I'm not sure what that means, if it's walker related or it's related to the CRM, because in this next image we have Michonne in front of this large group of walkers, and it looks like she's probably leading them, because she then fires off kind of a whistling rocket kind of thing, and it probably uses it as some form of distraction or whatever for walkers that makes them want to follow it. I mean, she's obviously leading these walkers somewhere, or she's just trying to make them go away, not real sure. But we kind of got a similar shot in her last episode where she saves that couple, and then we see her race down the hill towards this large group of walkers or large group of people. I don't think anyone's really 100% sure. But moving on to this next one, we have our first shot of the man himself, Rick Grimes, and what is obviously the CRM, probably their main location. But it looks like this particular settlement, if it is the main location or one of their outposts, it's not going to include the main downtown area of Philadelphia where we all believe this is supposed to take place, because obviously all the buildings are in complete ruins. There's overgrowth everywhere. You have what looks like cars packed on bridges and maybe packed in parking garages or whatever. And so they probably didn't feel like it was safe as a community, or maybe as a military, or whatever the situation is, to go in there and try to recapture what's left of the city from the old world. So they just left it, and you can kind of see it. It's separated by that river. But moving on to the next one, here's Rick. Here's a familiar shot that we've seen in other teasers where he is obviously exhausted and just beaten down from his time in the culling facility, taking down walkers. And just, this is where it could possibly be that we see flashbacks of Rick's progression in the CRM, because there's different points in this trailer that kind of indicate he started in one place, but he's worked his way up to another place and having access to certain people. So who's to say he hasn't made his way up in the military chain, starting out in one of these culling facilities and then moving up to be a soldier. But going on to this next shot, Michonne's very distraught. This is probably, she's reached a point where she's starting to lose hope, maybe. Maybe this is right after she finds his stuff on that boat that sends her off on her mission in the first place. Because we saw at the end of The Walking Dead, Rick throws onto the boat, and apparently at some point that boat breaks free from that, where it's run up on land, and it makes its way down the way to find Michonne. So she's probably just in a spot in her mission where she's feeling very hopeless. But then the character Nat, who I'm going to show here in a second, says that the words on the phone mean believe a little bit longer, or something along those lines. So this is Nat. We don't really have a whole lot of information about him yet. But moving on, then we have Pearl Thorne, played by Leslie Ann Brandt, who, if you're not familiar with her work, her last show that she did a large chunk of was Lucifer on Fox, and then it moved on to Netflix. It starred Tom Ellis, and at one point during the second season, somewhere around there, Tom Welling joined that cast, who played Clark Kent on Smallville. But it was just a DC version of Lucifer, and Leslie Ann Brandt played a demon that was to look out for Lucifer, and she just did an amazing job at doing that. She just has so much depth as a character, and it seems like in this particular show, it looks like she's going to be another culling facility member who knows Rick, and because she says in this particular scene that now I know I can't escape, so this is possibly after he's made one escape attempt and brought back, maybe the one we saw, and she's got kind of this Russian accent going on, which is very different for her. So I'm excited to see what they do with her, if she's end up being one of Rick's friends or someone that possibly helps him get out, or wherever they go with it, but I'm excited to see what they do with her. Then we get this very open, green, mountainous shot. Not sure where this takes place. Then we get this shot with a voiceover saying the CRM is the most powerful military in the world, the most powerful force in the world. I don't think we've gotten any news on who this dude is and what part he's going to play, but he looks like he's probably one of those very committed, very serious soldier types who is very committed to the cause. Then we got this. This, I want to say, after reading an article about General Beale, he said that he has around 2,000 frontliners. This is probably part of that unit, probably part of that special forces kind of thing, where he's got this certain faction of soldiers that's separate from the rest of the army. So it's going to be pretty cool to see what these guys can do, who they are. Is there going to be some people that stand out in this crowd? Then we got this one. I gotta say, this is probably part of that special units force, because these uniforms look so much better than the ones that we saw in the World Beyond. And I take them a little bit more seriously, because the ones in the World Beyond, those are probably foot soldiers for the most part. Those are probably people that go out to provide protection and general scouting and whatnot. And these are probably the special forces type of guys. And then we have our shot of Major General Beale, played by Terry O'Quinn, who's asking Rick, what is it that you want? Do you want to kill or do you want to die? And Rick goes on to say, look in my eyes, you'll know, tell me yourself. Then we just get another shot of Rick doing his duties at the culling facility. And then we get this shot, which is an aerial shot of helicopters going over fields maybe. But this kind of flashes back to Season 2, I want to say the beginning of Season 2 of Walking Dead, where we had the flashback scene of Shane and Lori seeing Atlanta getting firebombed and just seeing the military try to contain what's going on. So is this supposed to be a flashback of that, or is this connecting? Did the CRM have something to do with that decision to firebomb? Have they been in existence that long? So it's really hard to say, is this Atlanta or is this just another glimpse of another part of the world? Is this Philadelphia going through the same motions, getting firebombed, trying to contain everything? We see a shot of soldiers getting in some sort of battle with somebody, as we see soldiers getting hit with some kind of fireball or something. Then we got Michonne probably checking another random area that she's come across and just really batting down the hatches trying to find Rick. Another shot of her, probably the same area, Then you got the poster behind her that says Forest Dwellers. So this is probably some random settlement or random refugee center that was maybe put up in the beginning, or maybe it's near the CRM where she's found some evidence of Rick. This shot, I want to say, could possibly be right after Rick is picked back up after he tries to escape at the end of The Walking Dead. Just judging by the wounds on his face. Or maybe that's just blood from the culling facility duties, because you're gonna have splashback or whatever. Then we get these two. These are the two that Michonne rescued at the end of her run on The Walking Dead. So it's good to see that we're going to get them back and get maybe some background on them and who they are and what kind of relationship they've developed with Michonne along the way. Then we get our shot of Jadis. Who knows who she's pointing that gun at, if it's in self-defense or she's trying to get something out of someone again, because she's proven along the way she's pretty much out for herself. Aside from that too, within the world beyond, towards the end of that, where she got into that fight with Huck, where she admitted that she kept Rick out of those experiments. She said that he was a B when he was an A, and she kind of owed him that. She owed him that much is what she said. So hard to tell which side of the fence she's really on at this point. Then we got this shot of Michonne screaming, "Get out!" And then shortly after that, we get this shot of a CRM helicopter firing upon another one. Can't really see it in this particular frame, but that there's another helicopter sticking out of the building, and they have a CRM logo on it, so they're maybe trying to destroy evidence. They are very secretive about their locations and about their dealings, so they're probably trying to destroy evidence along with anyone that might be trying to nose in on what they're doing. Because we also get this other shot where we have Michonne and I assume the woman from that couple, or maybe it's another survivor that she's picked up along the way, but trying to escape, and we see these yellow clouds that are pretty familiar because we saw in the world beyond where they were developing this stuff. This is the tank, the little compressed air cylinders that we saw Huck, I believe, or Huck, or can't remember his fucking name, but one of that group trying to investigate and see what this is really all about. This is probably the same thing. Then we got our closing shot, or one of our closing shots, of a CRM military soldier. This is Rick, without a doubt. I mean, in the video, you can really kind of see the details of the face a little bit more clearly, but this is definitely Rick. And I think that's what leads me to believe that we're going to see flashbacks versus present day build up to see how he was when he first got there and how he worked his way up the chain and kind of earned Beale's trust maybe to become a soldier and work his way up the ranks. But then we get our new title card, and then we get this shot of Michonne kind of with a look on her face like maybe this is where she finds him, or maybe this is where she gets the info that she needs to find him. Who knows at this point, but I'm still a little concerned about how much they're really going to squeeze into this whole season, how they're going to squeeze all this story into 6 episodes. That's my biggest concern, along with a lot of other people. But I think, and this is my newest theory, that we're going to get buildup of this story and of these characters, and then it's actually going to conclude in the crossover spin-off series that we're supposed to get at some point. I think that's the best way they can do it, because I don't think they're going to be able to wrap up all the story, because we also have the possibility of Morgan returning. We had his setup at the end of the first half of the last season of Fear the Walking Dead, which was a whole dumpster fire on its own. So I'm glad that show is actually over. But it's hard to say what they're going to do, if they're going to 100% bring it all closed down and give us fans the satisfaction of seeing all these people come back together. Who knows at this point, and who knows how many seasons they're going to give Daryl or Dead City, how long they're going to drag that out, or if they already have plans in place to really close it out with this other spinoff. But anyways, guys, that is my breakdown and my thoughts about the show and what we could possibly see with this particular series, this season, and how it could possibly all come to a close. I'm very, very excited for it, to see these characters hopefully get the ending they deserve, and us fans get the ending that we deserve too, the ending that we want after watching this show for over a decade. But I guess that will do it, guys. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, leave your comments, and of course, subscribe. I would really appreciate the shit out of it. So until next time, guys, I will see you later. Bye.